Hello Patreons, how are you today? It's Stephanie Ani coming to you from the banks of the Trinity River, hanging out with Ozzy. He wanted to say hello, so he just jumped up on my lap. Oh goodness, he wants to go play, and he doesn't want me to be doing this anymore. Oh, hi buddy. Oh. Okay, Moose, wait a couple minutes. Go sit down. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. He's got me. What are you doing? I'm trying to do an intro. I am trying to do an intro. Yes, I love you. Okay. All right, so we just saw the YouTube video, and now here is the Patreon video. All right, this thing has been a bit excruciating for me, but I learned so much from doing it. I really, truly did. I'm very proud of what I've come up with. Again, through this series, you will, every time a Hacking the Masters goes on YouTube, you guys will get the second video. I promised you I was going to bring you good stuff, and I'm delivering on that promise. The one thing that we definitely did with this painting is that we used a complete different type of texture paste. Here we go. Did I close it? I closed it. Of course I closed it. All right, this is the texture paste that I used. Now, as you can see, it has a really fairly thick consistency. You know, if you leave it flat, it's going to stay in at shape. All right, how did I make this slew? I can't remember if I have it on video or not, but just a quick recap. You start with equal parts of Mod Podge and gesso. Don't measure it out. Just maybe put an extra little slop of Mod Podge instead of the gesso. Okay, we want as much of the binder as possible on it. So start with your liquids first, and then slowly add in your baby powder, a talc powder, whatever you want to use. Okay, just kind of slowly add that in, and play with it, guys. It's not an exact science. If you have that, if you have the Mod Podge in there, you're going to get that stick. Okay, you're not going to mess it up. And if you go too far, we'll just make it into a texture paste. That's okay. That's okay to do that. You know, just make it work for you. All right, guys, you've got all your images, and this, like I said, took 5 days. So this video is going to be a little bit different. You're going to hear me talking more than watching me work, because watching me work, I can't show you 5 days of watching me work. Sorry. You know, I'm just painting. All right. Love you guys bunches. Thank you again so much for being here. Be sure to let me know who you would like for me to be inspired by. I've got the next few weeks already planned out, so if you give me a great suggestion, it will be for a future series. It won't necessarily be for this one. So, love you. Thank you for being here. Bye. Transfer that over. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's a quick and dirty way to grid your canvas to help you with, you know, it doesn't have to be exact, guys, just to help you with visualizing where each thing is going to be. And, you know, please realize that landscape was my focus for a very, very long time. I can't see where my little tick mark is. Crazy. So I'm just double checking and make sure I've got 90-degree-ish angles, and that'll be pretty close. Okay, so now that I have this grid that matches this grid, we have the background, the middle ground, and the foreground. And then we have that side, and that side. Now, obviously, we want to lead our viewer into the painting. So this strip of white here is going to be super important, but we're also going to visually take another strip of white and we're going to highlight this area because we want to bring people in, right? This will be darker probably than that is. This will stay kind of dark over here. I don't know if I'll put the sticks in. I kind of like this element here. So just because you have a picture that shows it this way, does not mean that you have to do it exactly that way. This is Artist License 101, guys. You know, do what makes you happy with this. So if you look here to here, that's where that little line is. Comes to there, goes to there. Boop. All right, so I'm going to exaggerate this. It's skinnier here and it's fatter here, and that's just due to perspective. So if you were to follow this out, this here would get wider as you go along, right? So we're going to take that, there's a middle strip of green, this middle strip here. Actually, it goes down much shorter than that. And then we have this upper strip that goes past here to right there. It starts in the upper quadrant there. Upper section, upper third. So each of these can be broken down into additional thirds. I know it's a lot. Don't worry about it. It's not rocket science. I'm just trying to show you a way to make it a little bit easier on yourself when you're trying to bring in your image. Okay, so here, this V here is wonderful, and we're definitely going to keep that V, and we're going to bring this around. We're going to exaggerate some of these forms and shapes, because for one, Vincent would have definitely made that exaggeration, but two, it's going to help us visually. It's going to bring us right into the center of the photo, right? That's what we want people to do. That's what, you know, makes it peaceful. Okay, so if we look here, this middle ground is here, halfway. No, it's not halfway. Okay, so here is, it's under half. So we start right here. All right, and then we're going to right to this point, right in the center. This is dead center. Right, so we're going to take that mountaintop across there, and then we're going to bring this mountaintop down to here. Well, actually, it came down much earlier. All right, and then we're going to come up here. We're going to put our trees in that stay up there. Then we actually have some nice roundy trees up in here, here, here. We got some bushes here. And we don't want to forget that. Now, this is water soluble. This is going to make a mess on here. Just realize that. But it should also be a little bit easier to clean off, too. Okay, so then we've got trees here. Okay, we have tan right back here. That's going to be an important color. All right, we've got this guy up here on that ridge line. Okay, we've got a ridge line, so we're going to make it into a ridge line. Bloop, bloop, bloop. All right, so in the center of this, we have this furthest back mountain. So let's not go to that one yet. Okay, so that was the top of this point here, which is this area right there. Got a V, a triangle, triangle, triangle. It comes down and into the center here. This comes across here and runs behind that. And it's a road. This is a little too abrupt. This goes back up into here. Yes, yes. Then this mountain comes back up here. It doesn't have to be exact, guys. Nice shape here. This is negative space. Always look for your negative space as well. All right, this is the arroyo through here. This did get up in here a little tall. I'm gonna come down in here. All right. So right along here we have this line. Here we have larger trees. And then we have rows and rows of stuff. But that's basically how I would sketch out this photo. Hi guys. Okay. I think I decided to stay with this image. Here it is here. And I'm gonna mix it up from how I did it on YouTube. So here was the finished one on YouTube. Now the texture here is very high and pronounced. I didn't have a lot of control over that texture. So we're really gonna push this. So I'm just gonna put you on fast forward as I work through how I want this to be. I think that would be a perfect Van Gogh sky right there. And I'm going to leave part of this. Yeah, I'm not going to do my exact image. I'm going to mix it up a bit. Even when he had plain days. Now, I made a whole new batch today. This stuff is really quite stiff, but it should dry really quick. Now, if I want to thin it down, I can do that later on too. Just adding a little bit more Mod Podge or gesso or whatever to the mix. All right. Hi guys. Well, I have let it dry. And then I went over it a little bit more because I'm kind of obsessive that way. So this was a combination of a stencil, which you saw, and then you also saw me with this little tube of stuff here. What this is this is a mixture of Mod Podge, white gesso, and powder, which is our same mixture as our texture paste. And while our texture paste is nice and thick, I took some of the very liquid stuff out first and poured it into this little squirt bottle. By doing that, I was able to give myself some nice Van Gogh-esque lines. And as we learned from this painting, he uses these soft, very strong delineative lines. So I've taken his inspiration and I've really built up a beautiful background. Super happy with this. This of course is our image. I've modified it. I made this this stencil worked excellent, and then I just kind of moved it on here like that, which you'll probably see me do. Then I just took my credit card and went out a little bit further. So this is from the Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous. Putting my hands into the wet stuff, probably making burrs. It was one thing I learned from the first one. I want smoother texture. So that is what I am trying to create. So just a little bit ago, I did take actually a pumice stone. Now this is a pumice stone that I got at one of the nail salons, and for your feet. And I thought I would try that to sand down the edges. It worked really fast, but it did take away part of the stone pretty quickly. So probably a little bit expensive to use for sandpaper, but it worked, it did the job. So my sandpaper's all getting a little bit gnarly and old. I would like to go through here and, I don't know, can I take a knife to it without risking going through it? I don't think that it's going to be necessary though, and here's where my nitpickiness comes in. Like, oh, that line doesn't look very good right there. That one doesn't look very good right there. I want to, where's my picture? I want to make sure that my mountains are just right. And that's because that's, that's the type of artist I am. So even though I'm doing an abstraction, I'm still going to make sure that it's as close as I can get it, And it doesn't need to be close. That's just my aesthetic with it. So I definitely do not want to go all the way through this canvas or I would scream. I have to figure out how to do a patch if I did that. But I do like this thought, this idea of being able to go through here and really delineate my lines. So this is all trees through here. It kind of bugs me because it's kind of lumpy and such, but they are actually shapes of trees. Right there. Tree right there. All right, so I think I'm pretty much so ready to start putting on paint. I'm hoping that the paint this time goes faster. Truly, I've done a lot of prep work with this, and hopefully that means it should be a little bit smoother sailing than the last one. The last one was fine, but I had too much texture. So this process I like much better because I have a much better control on how much texture is on here and where it's at. So I guess I would absolutely suggest to do it this way instead of making your base layer all crumply. I have a feeling this is going to be a much better way to go. Yay! I'm excited about it. Okay, bye.